good afternoon. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. I've been all around the downstairs of the house looking for somewhere to do this live today without having to get a shadow in it, but I do apologise. There's not a lot I can do about it. The shadow's here to stay, but we'll do our best. How's that? A little bit of an look. Hello. But not to worry. Here we are, number 407. So what have I done to start with? I've actually used a regular white tile and I've put a little bit of ink on it. So I've used a bit of an orange and a bit of a lemon. I've thrown some water at it, literally, and let some salt on the top of it and then let it dry naturally. So I've just rubbed all the salt away. It's left this lovely sort of pattern around the back. I think it was a Spectrum Noir water-based inks I've used. So that would be Honey Pot. And this one of the tangerine kind of colours, not sure. But okay, where are we going to start today? So pen, pencil, tortillon, two hands, and I'm going to come straight in with a pen. All right, are we ready for this? Okay. First things first, it doesn't matter where we start with this. And I'm going to put a bit of a curve in. So I'll sort of start here and take it up there, like so. Okay, so far so good. We can all manage that, I'm sure. Let's do another one. So I want it to be a little bit narrower here than there. So I'm going to come along and put that in like so. Okay, a little bit narrower there. Looks a bit like a road or a pathway, doesn't it? All right. Next little bit then. I want to put a little bit of a border in now. So I'm going to use a ruler in my little kit here. My red ruler actually is at the office. It's still on my desk upstairs. So, yeah, it is a better one. But for now, this is fine. This works just as well. And it's got my little circles and things on. So this actually is in the, the kit with the essentials pattern, isn't it? So it sort of sits in there nicely. I've started to carry that around with me so I don't carry too many pens and pencils. And it just sort of suffices and does its thing. Okay, there we go. Doesn't matter, by the way, whether it's that way or that way. It's whatever works, or you can have it that way. It's absolutely fine. So don't try and sort of replicate it exactly. Oh, Wendy. Honestly, if my lap was anywhere in Benji's vicinity, he would be the same. But he's at the moment he's lying by my feet. So yeah, he's any port of call. So okay, I'm going to come in with a curve. See, like this, almost like a loop. Let's go a little bit bigger here. Okay, and then I'm going to come back on myself like that, and do another loop that way. And back on myself, and I'm going to continue doing that sort of shape. And notice it. I've started at the smaller end. It's going to get bigger. Okay, bigger. And I will be putting classes for the next few months on my website. Hopefully Monday. I do apologise. I know some of you have been waiting. I've just been a little bit tied up, so I will get that sorted for you. I apologise for the wait. And of course, we're thinking about doing Stoke-on-Trent again in June, so look out for that as well if you're up for that. So you see here, look, I'm helping myself by stopping and starting in areas. I'm not trying to sort of stress myself out too much about trying to get loops in there and things like that. Okay, so let's have a little look at that. All right, bit of a road map there. Okay. So let's have a look at this next little bit. And I think the first one, it doesn't matter which side again you're going to do this on, but I'm going to go ahead with this top row here. The first thing I want to do is put myself a bit of a curve in there like that. And similar on all of them. So in I go with little curves. And of course they're going to get smaller as you work your way down. Okay, I'm going to pretend that, look, there's one going off there. Like that. I'm going to bring my brush pen in. You can use a thicker pen, whatever works for you. And I'm going to fill those little spaces in with black ink. It's nice using black ink when you've got colour on the tile behind. It's kind of nice to sort of have that combination, isn't it? All right, so, you know, with certainly with a brush, I know some of you shy away from a brush. You can do this, and then if you think you need to neaten it up, you can bring your finer pen back in and do a line across the top. It just makes things a lot quicker. It actually gives a better finish because you're using a brush rather than a bullet nib. You see, look, I can come in, look, and I can neaten up if I need to those areas, and you can't tell. Okay, so far so good. So let's pull in from the bottom there. I'm going to come in and put a little loop in. Francis, you mean the large board? The large board, I did a mixture, honestly. We did it in a class, but you'll find similar flowers. Definitely we did the poppy for a tile on the 11th of November last year, so you could pick that up on YouTube. And some of the flowers, they sort of come in a variety of different stencils, I would say. Flowers in Bloom is a good one. And I did the Just Beautiful yesterday with the daisies. That's a good one. So, you know, you can have a look at a lot of the tiles as well. We do flowers, so you can pick on those. So yeah, this one was actually, I think this one is the Just Beautiful. That one, I think I'd done it in the bees stencil, but they're all over the place. Okay, all right. There we go, got that bit done. So if I turn it around now, let's have a look at these shapes, okay? And the first thing I'm going to do, let's pick one that we've got a definite sort of shape. See, that one's going underneath, so we'll come back and do that one after. So I'm going to follow it round a little. All right, so I've got a smile on it now, isn't it? And then along and create a little curl on the top like that. And let's do this on each one. Into this one. See, so follow the first line you've got and then bring it back on itself. Follow it down and back on itself. So again, each one's going to get kind of smaller as we go along. Working my way around. Hello, Charlotte. Just caught your name there. So this one, I'm still going to do it. I'm going to imagine that it sort of comes around here, see? But it's sort of going underneath. And then this one here, sort of down there and around there. So we've got those loops all over. Okay. So let's look at this space in between. I'm just going to turn it to the side for a minute. And let's go along here. Maureen, pencils first with the watercolours and then a little bit of water afterwards. Okay, my advice, honestly, as I would just do a little bit of a practice just to start off, okay? Rather than going straight in with the pieces. So you get the idea of how much water to put on. Okay, you see this sort of section in between now? I'm filling it with slightly curved lines, creating a bit of a stripe. I'm going to do the same there, like it's still going off the edge. And in this bit, along, you see, creating those little stripes. Slightly curved, and it doesn't matter if you've got more or less in each one, it's just about filling the space that you've got there. So along we go. Okay. So if I pick this one, you can see this quite clearly on the side opposite my curve there. What I'm going to go is I'm going to bring a slightly curved edge in. So same there, look, and then you see I'm filling it with ink. So it's giving it a little bit of shape to it. So So let's do the same on this one. See, a little bit of a curved edge. Sort of both sides. So I'm sort of almost putting just a little curve there and then filling in those gaps, you see? Not going to do it here because of course I can't see the full edge, although I can see a little bit of that one. So we can continue that kind of thing, okay? And working my way back down. Okay, I'm going to start on this, and you can start here if you want and work your way down. But so I don't lean on anything, I'm going to start here and work my way down this way. And then it's all sort of in front of my hand, but you know, you can work in whichever way suits you. Don't forget, you know, I'm left-handed, so everything's going to be sort of slightly back to front if you're right-handed. So please, if you feel that you want to, you can turn this around, do a mirror image of it. It's not a problem. It's not something that it's going to matter if it's a different way. So, same in this one. See, just adding that little bit of shape to it has made the difference. Okay, let's have a little look at that. Here we go. Doesn't want it. There you go. All right, look at that. Quite sweet, isn't it? Okay, let's thicken up the line here. I'm not going to fill anything with ink as such, but I just want to add a thicker line, so work our way around it a little bit. Of course, I'm going to do that on each one. You could bring a 5 pen in here if you want to and do this, but I'm going to stick with my 3 and work it along there. Okay, so far so good. So looking at these little gaps here, and if I put a bubble in, see, fill up as much of the space as you can there as you work your way around. Quite small there. And then again, I'm going to come in with that brush and work that in. Maureen, I will use the watercolour pencils next week on a tile. They're still in the car. I don't have them with me at the minute, or else I'd have done it on this one. So I will. I'll give you a little bit of a demo on them next week on a tile. You see, I'm not trying to fill it in completely. I'm just getting the thickness, or as much in it as I can. See, when it gets quite small here, I can switch back, and so you can kind of neaten up those areas a little bit. It's too small to get a brush in. It can be a little bit cumbersome, but we don't want to do that. Just add in those bits. Okay, all right. So just coming back to these ones, and again, I did think about it. I am going to fill these in. So it's got quite a strong sort of sense of presence because there's a lot of drama with this black, and it's important that, you know, we have a bit of this kind of texture going on in a piece. Yeah, okay. See how that sort of works there. All right. Okay. So what I want to do, just across this top edge, and I'm going to come in a little bit bigger. I want to add a few little dots. See, so I'm holding my pen real upright. So not at an angle because I want them to look like dots and not lines. Really upright. And then add some little dots in that area. Like so. You see how I've got more around this bottom edge, and it's sort of going less as we work our way around. So same again. So I start with putting some in sort of randomly around, and then gradually work my way into the bottom. You see, so it builds up kind of gradually rather than trying to put loads in at the bottom to start with. You've got, you know, you've got an area. It's almost like blending, isn't it? Top and bottom. we put very little in one end and then a little bit more at the bottom edge. And that gives us a little bit, a sense of shadow. You see, look, kind of around, and then bring it in. And because you don't have to really press on with this, you're just wanting a dot. So hold your pen upright and keep those dots coming. You know, stop and look at it if you need to, or do a few and then move on and do the next one, and you can come back and add some. But it's nice to sort of go with the flow, isn't it? I'm going to put a few in this bottom corner here because it's part of the design still. Not over there. And then this end, just hold your pen lightly. There, hold it upright. It looks very effective. You know, when you've got it in certain places. You can get a bit carried away with it, so, you know, take your time. And, if you think, oh, it's a little bit too much, you could always come in with a grey pen or a different colour and do that. And along here to that one. So I know that some of you are travelling up today for classes tomorrow and Sunday. Looking forward to that. I'm glad that the weather, I know it's cold, but I'm glad that the weather's holding up. Should be fine. So, yeah, we're going to have a busy weekend. Let's see how that works in. Let's have a little look at that. All right. Yeah, Dobby came back with quite a few bags yesterday. But some of them he's left at Pauline's because he was like, well, there's no point me bringing them home and then going back to Pauline's with them because that's where they're all going from on this cruise. So, yeah, and he's gone off to work today. Happy as Larry, not a problem in the world. Thinking he's going on holiday. So, okay, let's have a look at this. Got these little lines that we did, these first curves. I'm going to bring in some lines. You see, and I'm following that curve around. Let's go in a little bit closer. There you go, look. It's following the curve around. So start sort of where I've got my 12 o'clock position to where my tile is and me. And then work it around the edge there. Okay. Oh, Rose, they're not stories. This is Dobby's real life. I've not even seen his swimming trunks. But I know he's got a bit of a lilo. He's brought one of those. I think it's definitely not come off my credit card. So I think he's been borrowing Tommy's again. So I need to actually call Tommy and just ask him to check his statement. Because Dobby can actually get a little bit carried away. Right. Sort of, they're getting quite small now. So. Okay. All right, quite a bit of an in-depth kind of sort of section there, isn't it? So, okay, let's have a look. Doesn't matter which side. Let's start with, I'm going to go with this one. And I'm going to split it off. So I'm going to sort of start from this point here. I'm going to put a section in here. No worry. I'm going to do a section on there. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3 sections. So this first one, I'm going to come on in and I'm going to put a little line in with a bobble at the top. Okay. And then I'm going to create a loop on either side. And I'm going to continue loops on either side. Now you've got two ways of doing this. You can go from the top and work your way down, or you can come from the bottom and work your way up. You see, still putting loops in. I'm going to go one edge then the other, but if you prefer to go from the bottom up, that's fine. You see, works both ways. And see what you prefer. And there we go. So I've got to get them to match now. That'll be fine. All right, little loops. Let's put a little line in each one. Always going back to that original curve, isn't it? That first point. And along we go. First one side, then the other. Okay, oh, sorry about that. Have a look there. So we've got that kind of thing. So I'm going to do something similar in this one. So curved line in, loop at the top. And I'm going to start from the bottom. And I think I can get sort of a rhythm going, see, of loops as I work my way up. And same the other side. See, look, I get to that point and then I come back up and out, back up and out. There we go. So that's filling most of that sort of section up. And let's put some lines in. And on this side. These make really good leaves and flourishes and things if you're doing different pieces. Okay, and let's have a look. I'm going to look at this side now as well. I want to put in just one this time. And as before, find sort of middle area and let's go in for another one. And I'm preferring it from the bottom. I think I get a nicer curve. You see, like this. Oh, she says going over the line. But yeah, I do, but I know everybody's different, so if it's better for you from the top, there you go. And same this side. So I'm filling the space. I'm making the shape sort of suit if I can. As long as it fits in with the style of it, that's fine. You see, I'm gonna get another one and another one in there. So I'm not even counting the same on both sides. It doesn't matter. Just as before. Along and into those areas again. Put a little line in. Last couple. All right. So again, I'm going to look at the space that I've got around these and I'm going to fill it with bubbles where I can. So you start with the biggest bubble you can do until you can get to, you've only got gaps, and then fill them with ink. That's funny. He's so lovable, but he is a little bit of a menace at times. There's our Dobby. Sort of gets into all sorts of trouble, but his heart's in the right place. So I don't even think, looking at the calendar, he's put his holidays down. So it's not even... I don't know what he's thinking this time. Okay. So as we sort of work it round, and this one. So the whole of that section is going to be completely filled, okay, with bubbles. And because we've got that colour behind, actually it looks quite nice. It sort of moves as we go in. I've used, you know, two colours. That works really nice. Working it up to those and sort of little bits. See? So I'm going to do the same on the others. Again, start with as large a bubble as you can and then fill the rest in with little ones until you can't get any more in, and then it's ink. And again, it's got a little bit of drama going on there, but we're going to shade it so that centerpiece comes out a little bit more. All right, to those. And following it down. All kind of tiny little bubbles going in if you can. And the same with this one. So this is quite a space here. So I've got that ability to really fill it in with larger sort of shapes to get going with. And then go back and fill in any little gaps. Round we go. But of course you get too small, you can't do that anymore. I don't think we've used bubbles in a while, you know, to fill something, so it's nice to come back to now and again. They do look effective, so it's good. So, I wonder what we'll be drawing in class this weekend. If anybody's got any ideas or thoughts of what it may be. What are you expecting? Am I predictable? Can you expect and no? I'm not sure. Right, okay. So next one, we want it a little bit lighter than that. We don't want to sort of have too thick or too heavy a design. So I'm going to stick with the same pen and I'm going to create swirls. So not worrying about them being too close. We want something with a little bit more space. Oh dear. Don't know what's going on with my that's Benji. Walking around. He's just absolutely quiet, like a little ninja going past Seth, because Seth's asleep. And then he pads off in the distance. Alright, so you see sort of swirls. And they're going to kind of fill the space. So it looks like they're going underneath each other. Oh, I've missed a few bubbles. Oh, I have. I got carried away wanting to do the other bit. That's what it is. There you go. Filled in. And that bit there. What would I do without you keeping an eye on me? All right, next bit. So these are quite large, so we want a little bit of a space to them kind of thing. Fill in that gap in. And turn around. I'm going to do the same with these. So see how far you can go with it before you give in. See, this one's quite easy in a sense because I've just got to do top and bottom. So let's start another one. All right, round we go. Oh, see, when it starts to get a little bit thinner around the edges, you think, yeah, it's had enough. Well, I'll do another one then. Keep it going. It's a really good one to actually fill sort of space and sections because you can have any little part of it. You can start the swirl wherever you want. You can go really close, really tight. There we go. All right. So let's bring a bit of pencil in. First of all, I want to make this bit stand out a little bit more. The easiest way to do that is to give it plenty of pencil on either side. Okay. See, so don't be shy there. Let's get some in on either side. And then in these little shapes here, what I'm going to do is add some on that side, you know where we put those curves? But then bring it down a little bit on each of those lines. Let's go in a bit so you can see that. See? So there it's going to be little bits. So I'm working my way down. So sort of little then a longer bit sort of going across the lines. Like that. One again. Okay. So as you get a bit smaller, of course, your pencil's not going to be as much. Right. And then looking at these shapes, I'm going to come up from that point. I'm not going to do anything on the top because we've got those black dots, and that's going to provide a little bit of shading. Okay. And then our swirls, as I did say, our swirls were behind. So let's have this line on that inside section there. We can also fill in that bit there. So I'm going to do the same on this side. So that's going to go behind. So it's going to have pencil all around like that. My little sort of loop shapes, I'm going to add a little bit in the middle. So again, not being too precise about this. It's going to be sort of softened off anyway. Any of the really large bubbles, put a little highlight in. They're too small though. Not to worry about them. Okay, so more pencil down there. And little bits of highlights in those larger bubbles. Okay. So let's bring in my tortillon. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to do these middle bits first. So starting with those little shapes, I'm going to soften them off. So you see, starting there, going across a bit where the line is. It's giving it a little bit of shape. Work my way down. Same with this one. These ones I'm not going to worry too much about. It's almost giving them a little bit of shading, but you can't really see exactly what's going on there. And then same with these little bits. Not too much there because you don't see much, but of course as they get a little bit bigger, you can start to bring around the shape. See how I'm going around it, not straight, following that curve. So I've got something going on there. Right. A little bit around those highlights. Right. A little bit there. Okay. Before I go any further, I'm going to bring my white pencil in. And let's go in a little bit. Now, because I've got a colour underneath, you are going to see this a little bit more. If you've got a white tile, you might not see this as much, but it's always worth doing. See, I'm adding some to the other side of where I've put that darkness. Only where I can see it, so when it's getting a bit smaller, you can't really do much. Okay, and of course, on those bubbles. A bit of a highlight, only again where they're large enough. And I think as well I'm going to see these little stripes, add a little bit to that edge. So I've not done any shading in there because they're quite small. It's about making a decision. Do you want to put graphite in or do you want to put a bit of white pencil? Okay, let's have a little look at that. Better see, it just gives it that little bit of lightness, which is what we're after. Of course, you can come in and add a little bit more if we want to. I'm just going to do that on those larger ones. Okay, so let's just push in the shading with those loops just to start with. Some of it's going to get hidden, so I just want to get that in. Again, I'm not paying too much attention to them. Our main piece is in the middle, so I don't want to overdo these bits. Just giving them a little bit of shadow. Again, look, following the curve so you can see where it looks as though it's got that bit of dimension to it. Okay. And then coming around my swirls, let's do that little bit first. You see that? I'm not really swirling it too much. I want to keep that quite dark around there. And then here we can swirl it because we want to soften it all out. And same there. So it goes all the way around that shape. And this one. Let's do that first. You see, quite dark. We're going to keep that. And then a little bit softer around here. We want to kind of give it a little bit of a... Okay, we can make that in a little bit. So back in with my pen. And either side of the shape that we started with, I want to thicken up that design a bit. So again, you could bring your 5 in to do this. Let's make sure that you can really see that that's a line there. Okay. I wouldn't go under use a brush at that point. It's lovely, isn't it? I think it's nice to get that depth in, isn't it? But we definitely want to see this in front of everything. Okay. All right. So because we've got graphite in places, what I like to do is I want to come back and put that black over those lines. Now if I again go in a little bit more, you can see that I've only gone part way over. So let's do that again, like part way. Let's thicken up a bit more there. Just where that shading is. So it's just putting that black line back and it's making that stand out a little bit more. Can you believe how many tiles we've actually done? I'm looking at them all yesterday in that folder, you know, and you see them all. It's a little bit crazy, isn't it? So again, coming back in with the black, just in this bottom area. So it's like I've put the graphite on and then I'm going back in and putting that black over the top, and it just brings that back to life. And the graphite covers it a little bit, so we want to make sure we've got those in, see? And again, let's define those just to be sure. All right, let's have a look at that. Okay, not bad at all. I think what I would like to do, I'm just going to come in with a bit more pencil. Just now I put that black in. Just to the edge. And take it in a bit more there. And the same here. So we've got a very definite kind of line. And just a little bit more down there. Just, I'm not going back over the black lines. I'm just going to add a bit to those top ones. Oh, I know, Clarice, it is, isn't it? And you think, looking back to that very first one, I mean, if I was to go and do that first one again, I probably wouldn't do it that way. But, you know, that's just how it is, isn't it? Everything sort of changes and everything evolves. But, yeah, we're certainly, we're doing a lot more picture sort of form these days. This one's a little bit more abstract than usual. But it's almost grid, but not grid, because you've got the lines that you've started with. So there you go. Now, of course, if I had put this line on this side, it would have looked like this was underneath. So you could perhaps have a bit of a play with that, just to see what's happening there. But have a go at this one this weekend. Now, of course, if you come into class, you're not going to have time to have another go at it. But if not, give it a go, post it on, and let's see how you're getting on with it. And I look forward to sort of seeing them. So, okay, all done and sorted. I will see you all here on Tuesday at 2 o'clock, as usual, for our number 408. So have a lovely weekend, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.